So we were talking this morning about needing volunteers for the district, and the biggest concern is having volunteers that are available to deploy, whether they deploy locally, so within our district would be Blind River, Spanish, Thessalon, Wawa, Hornpain, Sault Ste. Marie. So we're really looking for people that are able and have the time. And so you work full time, but you've been a volunteer for 10 years.
Yeah.
So how do you make it work?
Well, I think I have a great coordinator in you, providing the information I need to know if I can go on deployment. You send me information saying, this incident has happened, this is what we need, are you available? And so when I receive that, I look at my schedule, I look at the possibility of what the deployment could be, how long I would be away from my family, and how long I'd be away from my work, and I just talk about it with my employer, and I talk about it with my family, and I've been able to go on a few deployments. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest motivators for me for being with the Red Cross and doing deployments is when you're watching the news. And we've all had this experience where we're watching the news and we see something really terrible unfolding, and they're showing you the footage, and we're thinking, oh, that's so awful, that's so terrible, I wish I could help.
Exactly.
And when I joined 10 years ago, the scope or the number of disasters wasn't that many, and so I just did a few, and recently it's really had an uptick. There's been more and more disasters where Red Cross have been called to serve, and so now when I think of that thing that a person feels, how can I help? What could I do to help? I can answer that call.
So each time there is a major disaster, it's volunteers that get out, and they're the ones that are doing the helping. They're helping distribute blankets and comfort kits. They're the ones working with the municipalities and setting up shelters. So we train you to do that. And do you feel confident and ready from what the Red Cross has provided you in training and resources?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did receive really excellent training through the Red Cross. The training is held on weekends, so again, it's a possibility for people to take the training, again, based on their family and their work. But because the training is held on a weekend and it's provided by Red Cross, the costs are paid. So you go, you meet wonderful, extraordinary people on your training. I have to say, one of the sweet and sorrowful things with our training is that we know that if we're going to meet again, it's going to be because there's a disaster. And we don't want there to be a disaster, but we know that that's the way that we'll come together again. Mm-hmm. And I've taken training, and then I've been deployed, and it's like, oh, there's this person that I met, in Sudbury or in Toronto or somewhere. And you get to work with really, really extraordinary people. And it's really a team feeling, like you're helping people together as a team. And one of the most common phrases that you hear, and when people say thank you, the volunteers always say, it's the team, it's all of us. Mm-hmm. Because we know that we're supporting each other, and that the Red Cross is supporting us in our ability to help people. So it's really one of the big motivators for why I stay with Red Cross.
Yeah, and you can see that each time I have a meeting, whether it be in Wawa with the team or Elliott Lake's team, and Sault Ste. Marie definitely, you guys are a family. You enjoy each other's mm-hmm. company, and definitely we have to be prepared, right? That's the nature of the game. Emergency preparedness, and we work alongside the cities. And you don't want a disaster ever to happen. But with the new recruitment strategy, we're looking at disasters 1 to 3 levels of classification. So 1 would be a house fire, and level 3 would be multiple municipalities or multiple provinces. So, for example, Alberta. Mm-hmm. Something like that happened, Alberta wasn't ready, so now Canada Red Cross wants to be ready. So part of that is having the people ready and right. trained. So for Alberta,
Fort McMurray.
Right. We asked you to go out if you were able to go. Yep. Tell me about that.
So I went for a 3-week deployment to Fort McMurray. I served in the community with volunteers from all over Canada. When I arrived, most of the American volunteers had already left, but they would circle back in. There would be volunteers from the US as well, because the Red Cross is an international organization and they will draw on volunteers from wherever they can be found. We worked 11-hour days, 6 days a week, and when I arrived, we'd already been, the event was already approaching its second month. When I left, it was the 3rd month anniversary of the event. So we were still seeing people who hadn't worked in 3 months. So imagine if you didn't have a paycheck for 3 months, what would that mean for you and your family? Mm-hmm. We saw people that didn't have any food in their cupboard, nothing. And through the generous, tremendous support of Canadians who gave to the Fort McMurray, Alberta Fire's appeal to the Red Cross, those funds were matched by the Government of Canada. We were able to put food in the cupboard of people who had nothing. And that's a really, really satisfying feeling. You're working a long day, but every time somebody comes into the office and leaves the office with a food card or a MasterCard prepaid, then you know they can go and access that funds that Canadians have given to help them. Then you just see the donor and you see the recipient, the beneficiary, meeting through you. Yep. And that's just a really tremendous thing.
And for yourself, because you're an empty nester now, mm-hmm. It's easier for you to pick up and go, but we still need people to volunteer within our local community. And it's sometimes really exciting to go, oh, I'd love to go to Alberta and help in that capacity, but we want you to start in your local community and get the training and go on call and assist at that level as well.
Yeah, and I do that as well. I carry the pager. I have this cell phone for a week at a time, and if there is a local house fire, for example, or some kind of situation, a personal disaster that's caused somebody to be out of their home, Red Cross responds. Yep. You sometimes get a call in the middle of the night. Off you go. You provide them with housing. Maybe they have a place to stay, but they've lost their clothing. They need mm-hmm. personal services. And so under the 5 areas that Red Cross can support, you provide that support, and that is coming through the branch, through donations, through the branch, and that's helping your neighbors. That's the feeling there, right? You know that these people are right in your community. They need your support. They're standing on the street. It's families, it's single people.
It's people helping people, giving your time, giving your energy. So thanks for meeting with me today. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed, and I hope there's more people out there that see the need and step up and want to help in their community so we can be prepared in the event of a disaster anywhere, anytime.